The clouds were heavy that day. One of those moody gray skies that made even the city feel quiet. The kind of day where everyone walks a little faster, heads down, hands in pockets. No one notices anyone. No one wants to. Except him. He stepped off the curb slowly, head bowed under a worn hoodie. His boots were wet from puddles, his jacket too thin for the chill. You'd walk right past him and never think twice. That was the point. Jason Statham wasn't playing a role that day. He was the role, completely unrecognizable. No entourage. No sleek suit. Just another tired man in a tired city. Undercover, but not for a movie. He was testing something. He'd seen too much entitlement in the world. Too many people forgetting what it meant to help without expecting applause. So that day, he walked into a mid-tier restaurant in the heart of the city, no cameras, no team, no hints at who he was. Just an empty stomach and a plan. The door jingled as he entered. It was a warm little place. Clean booths, laminated menus, and that lingering smell of grilled meat and old coffee. Not fancy, but honest. It felt like the kind of place that saw more real life than most offices ever would. Jason walked up to the front counter. The young waiter barely looked up. Mid-20s, slick hair, distracted by whatever was on his phone behind the register. Jason cleared his throat. "Hey. I know this is a strange ask," he said quietly. "But I haven't eaten since yesterday, and I left my wallet back home. I don't want anything expensive, just, if someone could spot me a meal, I swear I'll come back and pay." The waiter raised an eyebrow. "Seriously?" Jason nodded once. "Dead serious." The waiter gave him a once-over, the worn hoodie, the wet boots, the tired eyes, and scoffed. "Sorry, man. This ain't a shelter. You want food, you pay for it. Come back when you've got cash." There was no cruelty in his voice. Just indifference. Jason didn't argue. He just nodded slightly, as if he expected it. He turned to leave. And then, "I got it." The voice came from behind the bar. Calm, soft, certain. The woman walked out with a notepad in hand. Dark hair tied up, sleeves rolled. Her name tag read Rachel. She looked like she'd been on her feet all day, and had 5 more hours to go. But her eyes? They were still kind. She gave Jason a gentle smile. "You hungry, sir?" He hesitated. "I don't want to cause trouble." "No trouble," she said. "Everyone has a bad day. What would you like?" He blinked. "Whatever's warm and filling. You pick." Rachel nodded and disappeared into the kitchen. Jason sat quietly by the window. He didn't fidget. Didn't check a phone. Just sat still, eyes following the traffic outside like it was the only moving thing in his world. 15 minutes later, she returned with a plate of beef stew, bread, and a glass of water with lemon. Steam rose from the bowl. The smell hit him before she even reached the table. "How's special?" she said. "Best on a cold day." He looked up at her. "Thank you, Rachel." She nodded. "Eat slow. That kind of hunger deserves respect." She turned away before he could say more. Jason ate in silence. Every bite was slow, deliberate. The kind of eating that came from true hunger. But more than that, it was gratitude. Across the room, the other waiter watched from behind the counter, shaking his head like he'd seen 100 scammers before. But Rachel didn't care. She watched too, not with suspicion, but quiet concern. There was something in that man's eyes. Something that didn't fit the way he looked. A story waiting to be understood. When Jason finished, he folded his napkin, stood, and walked toward the door again. But just before he left, he stopped. Turned back. "Rachel," he said. She looked up from where she was restocking utensils. He walked toward her slowly. The restaurant got quiet. "I just wanted to say thank you again. For your kindness." She smiled. "It's nothing." "Really?" "No," he said. "It's not nothing. It's rare." He reached into his coat. Everyone's eyes followed his hands. And then, he pulled out a black envelope. He handed it to her. Rachel looked confused. "What is this?" "Open it." She peeled it open slowly. And froze. Inside was a stack of 10 crisp $1,000 bills. 10 grand. Cash. Real. The entire restaurant gasped. A fork clattered to the floor. Even the waiter dropped his phone. Rachel's hands started shaking. "What is this?" Jason's voice was calm, steady. "It's yours." I can't. No, I was just trying to help." "That's exactly why you deserve it," he said. "You didn't help because you thought you'd get something. You helped because it was right. That matters." She blinked fast. I don't understand." "Who are you?" Jason gave her a small smile. Then he pulled back the hoodie. And everything stopped. People at nearby tables gasped. One woman literally stood up from her chair. It was him. Jason Statham. In the flesh. Rachel's knees went weak. She covered her mouth, trying to hold in the shock, the tears, the disbelief. Jason leaned in, his voice low. "Keep helping people. The world needs more hearts like yours." He pressed the envelope into her hand, then turned and walked out into the fading rain. No security. No paparazzi. Just a quiet man, doing something that would never make the headlines. But inside that restaurant, no one would forget. Rachel stood there, holding the envelope like it was made of gold, her eyes wide, full of tears, not from the money, but from the reminder that kindness still echoed. That people do see. Even when it feels like no one's watching. The young waiter? He stood in stunned silence. For once, no words. And as the door slowly closed behind Jason Statham, the silence was full. Of awe. Of respect. Of something rare. Something real. That day, Jason didn't just give someone money. He gave a whole room full of people something far more valuable. Hope. Rachel didn't move for a long moment. The envelope still clutched in her hands. Her lips parted. Breath shaky. Not because of the money, though it was more than she made in 4 months. It was because someone had seen her. Not just as a waitress. Not as background noise in other people's lives. But as a human being, capable of kindness that mattered. And as the door slowly shut behind Jason Statham, it wasn't applause that filled the room. It was silence. The kind of silence that changes something. The young waiter quietly stepped away from the counter and started clearing a table without saying a word. He didn't make eye contact. Not because he was embarrassed. But because he was thinking. About how he might have acted differently. About how quick we are to dismiss someone who looks like they have nothing. About how wrong that can be. And Rachel? She didn't rush to post about it. Didn't take a selfie with the envelope. She walked into the break room, sat down, and cried. Not for the money. But because in a world that moves too fast, someone slowed down. Someone cared. And she made a quiet promise to herself. That no matter how tired she got, no matter how many rude customers came through those doors, she would never stop being the kind of person who sees people. Because sometimes, the smallest act of kindness doesn't just feed someone. It restores them. And sometimes, the man asking for a warm meal might just be the one reminding the world what warmth really looks like.